in 10,000 or 5,000 meters, the last 400 meters is always the most intense, where the athletes will increase speed. Those that lack that perseverance, that stamina, may lose out just before the closing tips. Let me welcome my colleagues. Teve is joined by Abulo Semwaku.
Amici, good morning. Good morning, Teve, and good morning, dear listener. It's a cold morning in Abuja. The Harmattan is setting in, and hazy weather also. So we advise that you wear your jacket, and if you have children, you can give them nose masks to help them breathe well. Amici, the APC, I must congratulate them. Finally, they've started flag off their campaign in Jos, and it was colorful. We saw the whole about 22 governors there with over 30 private jets arriving the small airport of Yakubu Gowon Airport to flag off the campaign. It's a good one. We say kudos to the APC presidential campaign chairman, President Muhammadu Buhari, who was there live, and the other governors. However, we must call these presidential candidates to order because if you are addressing a gathering of supporters, you have to be very calculative. You have to be very careful. You have to be punchy. You have to watch your words. You have to know the words that you bring out so that it will not become a subject of mockery or you're undoing yourself. The presidential candidate of the APC yesterday, the PDP said, he prophetically said, God bless PD, and he didn't complete it. And before he's saying God bless,
is it not just a mere slip of the tongue that could be overlooked? I thought we should stay with what the substance, the message.
I'm driving somewhere.
Yes, the message he gave out, where he said, this is a struggle, a contest for the soul of Nigeria.
Yes, actually, it's a contest for the soul of Nigeria. I started by saying that they have to be calculative, they have to be punchy, they have to be to know what they want to say. But be that as it may, Amici, we have to stay on this issue because it's trending. And I listened to Dino the other day when he was talking in an interview, and he said, we the APC, and he quickly corrected himself and said, we the PDP. It happens, but it beholds now on the image makers of Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu to take this from here and don't let it go trending and as negative as the case may be, because you can use this to sell your candidate in the reverse. You can use this to tell the people that the candidate is actually saying those things in mockery. However, the issues, Bola Ahmed Tinubu said yesterday that he wants to build on the achievement of President Muhammadu Buhari. What are the achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari? Look at the anti-corruption fight, Michi. You have seen that the former Accountant General of the Federation is still there, facing 100 and something billion naira fraud. You heard the other issues of termite eating documents. You heard the other issues, and now there are so many issues. How do you score this president?
What of the positive side?
Now,
you always mention the second Niger bridge.
Yeah, the second. Good. So, how do you sell this man? How do you score this man? I mean to say, President Muhammadu Buhari, and for somebody to say he wants to build on the achievement. If there are achievements, fine, you can build on it. But I will suggest that the APC enumerate this achievement.
They've been doing that. They've been doing that over time.
And tell me the specific one. Are you building on ASU strike as an achievement? Or are you building on the Nigeria of 14,300 Nigerians that have gone to UK for studies as an achievement? Or are you building?
Have you forgotten the?
Okay, maybe
rail track, dual carriage, standard gauge.
Maybe it's the award Burna Boy won that I want to build on. Probably.
Well, he's seen it from a prison, one side of the coin. Here we see it from both sides of the coin. There are the goods, there are the bad, there are the ugly. But the president, on the 100 days to the election, he says no winner will be denied victory regardless of party. So he's again, I think he said that at the Just rally, promising on credible elections come 2023.
Amici, good morning to you, good morning, listener. The president has continued to emphasize and speak to what he says should be his legacy of credible, free, fair elections, as it were, especially that Nigerians were all behind the bill that is now an act, the 2022 Electoral Act. Is seen as historic for him to have assented to it at the time, that he did. But be that as it may, I've always said the challenge is not with President Buhari. The challenge is not even with the federal government. The challenge is what we're having in the states. It's a huge crisis, if you ask me, where people cannot freely campaign the way they want to. It's a huge problem. You and I were in a way over the weekend. And, everywhere you turn to, the few billboards that you saw were of a particular political party. The posters were of a particular political party, and it's
what's the name of the party?
It's the APC, obviously.
Because you're always frank on this program.
And if you go to River State, people will tell you, you will see that of PDP. If you go to, so it's like that, where the party that is ruling in a particular state, there are very few states, where you go that you won't see such, a situation. And you will look at the trend. It's in most states where the governors, are having their last term, you see them taking that kind of, approach. Or in states where governors are not in the March 2023 elections, you see them taking, that position, as it were. And I think it is something that if Buhari should possibly take a look at in terms of talking to, especially these governors that are from his party. It's important that we allow every other person, because they are putting certain hindrances. You must pay millions of naira for even use public facilities.
Schools, I think it's specific. Wike said something like that.
It's not only Wike.
It started from Kogi.
So it's a huge problem that needs to be, taken care of. But again, when the driver that was taking me around, I told him, I said, perhaps the good aspect of it is the other parties, instead of using money, though it affects us in the media, using money for billboards, and the printing of posters and all of that, they could use that money for door-to-door, campaign, of neighbor to neighbor, instead of all of that. But it's important that in whatever way that any other the field should be level for everybody.
Yesterday on this program, we lashed on the concerns expressed by the leader of the National Peace Committee, General Salami Abubakar. He raised such concerns and says it doesn't portend good for the country, and we said where the governors or even at the center, those that perpetrate this are those that are fearful of their chances. They have sensed the public opinion, and they are becoming desperate that if they don't go below the belt, they may lose this opportunity. And to them, elections are do or die. One of our listeners will make reference to it in the letters we'll share later. The desperation to stay in public office will force them to do anything. But the concern is, at this stage of our national life, we heard this story during the First Republic. We heard this story during the Second Republic. About that Third Republic, we didn't hear much. And Fourth Republic, for God's sake, instead of making forward positive movement, we keep going back. We make one step forward and take 5 steps backwards.
That is why I have a problem with the choice of words. I said it before. You say when somebody goes and say we'll fight. No. The choice of word matters a lot. You saw the issue between Soludo and the Labour Party. You saw the manner which the Labour Party presidential candidate responded. He said yes, he is a trader, and the governor of Anambra State, as it is now, is a professor. So where he has failed. Very subtle response. Where he seeing that he has failed, you as a professor, I think you can correct it, because government is a continuum. So that is the kind of response some person will want to see, and kind of talk you want to talk. When you face the microphone, you're talking to the public, or when you climb a podium, you're also relating to the public. So you have to be careful your choice of word. That is what the National Peace Committee is trying to check. You don't use your words to encourage your supporters to go violent. You don't use your words to encourage your supporters to carry arms. You have to use your words, use your communication gadget to ensure that the message you are passing through even go beyond your supporters to go and convince the opposition to join you. That is what we are talking about. So the message you pass
is important.
Is key.
Tell me now, what we have noticed, how do we begin to address those issues? We can sign an executive order. Other governors will cite existing laws, even release of campaign venue and all that. How do we begin, apart from when we shout about the problem here, what practical steps should be taken by the media, civil society, the candidates and the political parties themselves with a view to resolving this?
I expect, Amici, that by now, especially those that are affected by some of these executive orders, and actions, to challenge it in court. By the time that is done, there is an order of the court against such an executive or invalidating such so there is a legal backing to make the field free for everybody. I mean, it is such that it's not just the places of venue, billboard and all of that. Even talking with people on the streets.
Thank you. Let me pause you a bit. The airport tax I bothered well. Yes. Because whenever I go to engage people with a view to filling their purse, he was reluctant to open up.
They won't open up.
Because he didn't know who you are.
Whether you are.
There are states in Nigeria. In Kogi, we also saw it in Kogi, where if before the last governorship election, they won't engage you. They will look, even when they get your confidence, they begin to warm into you. They talk in hushed tones. And I said, in a democracy, the only thing democracy guarantees you, I keep saying it, democracy cannot guarantee you economic dividends. It's an extra. It becomes this jara, like we say in local parlance. The only thing guaranteed is freedom of expression, the fundamental human rights, freedom of speech. And in a democracy, citizens, especially at the states, are afraid to speak up. There's a huge problem.
It's huge. And I think, like I said, maybe going to court to get an order to invalidate some of these executive orders. But for President Buhari, who has promised to have a free, fair election for everybody, he should know that, like I said, it's not about him. It's about other actors in the entire, electoral system. And he needs to take an action on this. If it means himself having a presidential executive order to counter all these orders, we need that. Yes.
We yesterday on this program we said perhaps a political offences commission would have been better here.
Yes, the National Peace Commission
can be upgraded. In the absence of that, we said the National Peace Committee
legal backing or
should be given
legislative backing.
Before the legal backing, they should do more. Yes, we acknowledge what they did by raising this alarm, but they should sit and more frequently and evaluate these incidents and reach out to those governors. These are eminent Nigerians that are involved. We can expand it and let them have behind the scene talks with governors of these states or any official in Abuja where these infractions have been noticed. And I remind them of the consequences, because such an action does not come with, it comes with consequences. If you use illegitimate means, your opponent may also want to use illegitimate means, and when both employs the
two wrongs
legitimate
are not
means,
making right.
We're building the place for violence. INEC, when this started, INEC, I remember there was either the chairman or there was a statement from INEC on this issue saying, look, Wike or whoever is do not have the right to prevent people from using public places for campaigns, and it ended there. I think INEC also has a responsibility in this matter, even though that has to do with government, and all of that, but monitoring of political parties and the rest. There is so much more.
But they don't monitor government.
That's what I'm saying.
But that is what
whatever they need to do, maybe a proposal, and they are the ones managing the entire election process. So they could possibly come up with a proposal on how we can, move forward.
Is it not the work of the media and civil society?
Yeah, good.
Now, where I'm driving at. We're talking. We go beyond the talking. We're talking here. There's nothing else you can.
Nigeria, as a country, we have a complete system. Everything is complete as institution-wise, but utilizing this institution is where we have problem. For heaven's sake, we have the National Orientation Agency. They are, what is their? It's a federal agency, and they have control offices in states.
To appeal to the governor.
No, the orientation agency can appeal to the government or use their medium to all political parties can go through a orientation agency and advertise their billboard. Yes, why not? Because the government agency set aside to orientate the people. You as PDP, you as APC, you as Labour Party.
Taking away the job from the advertising.
Yeah, because it is not supposed to promote just one political party or the party in government. It's supposed to orientate the people on how to vote, on how to know your political party, on how to join the queue, on how to stamp. That is what orientation agency is supposed to do. So they are lagging behind. So I think they should be encouraged through the Ministry of Information, who is Lai Mohammed, encourage this agency to wake up to their responsibility, go into this hinterland, even if billboards are not there, let the voters know. Display the logo of all political parties. And these are the logos. Anyone that your mind chooses to vote, you vote. That is orientation.
I mentioned we need to find a solution. We need to find a solution to this, and it's a challenge to the civil society, like we also mentioned.
We need more activists, civil society.
You know, but the interesting thing,
but not at the state level. If that civil society activists at the state level,
the governors are so powerful. The governors are so powerful.
I mean, in as much as the driver and the hotel workers and all of that will not open up to you in some of these places. There is so much that they said without saying it, from their actions and some of
their answers.
Will tell you that yes, all of this may be happening, but they have made up their minds. The people know what they want to do, and that's why we'll call on everybody. The voter register is on display for about 2 weeks. This is the first week
for claims and objections.
Go there, look at it, especially those who registered and you may think you have registered, because once you register they give you that there's this temporary slip, print out they give you think you've registered, but your name is not there. So just go now and check, so that when the PVC time comes, you will not be looking for a PVC that is not there. But it's important that you also check, for everybody checks, because in our communities where we are, there are some of our community members that are dead, there are some that have relocated, and all of. So you identify some of these things, and people, take them off. A practical example for me in 2011 when I registered in Bauchi, they misspelled, I think, my first name and all of that. During the claims, I went there, identified, they gave me a form I filled, and eventually that was corrected. So that is how it works. And the good thing is, it's not just only at the council wards, as it were, it's also online. So you don't necessarily need to go to your council ward, to do that. You go online at the INEC